Hey YouTube, I'm Sergeant Indy. Welcome back to my turn-based strategy tutorial for Game Maker Studio. This video we're going to finalize our attack statistics, do a little bit of cleanup, and get a line of sight and range check up and running for our ranged attackers. Let's head to our actor parent object and we're going to fiddle around with some more variables right in the create event. Okay, so let's do a little bit of cleanup and get some organization done. We've got our level up here. Oh, level up here. What am I doing? Level here. All right, so base statistics, little subcategories, just to keep track of this stuff a little bit better. And then we want our health variables. And then we've got down here, we're going to have our attack variables. Okay, so we've already got our hit bonus. We're going to add a few more. Attack, type, melee, and then attack, target, equals no one. And obviously those will do other things later on. I'm going to give us a little bit of space to work with here. Okay. Attack target equals no one. We're going to use that much later on. Attack timer equals 0. So attack target and attack timer we're going to use later on to make attacks work. But for now, we're just sort of filling it in so we can have it ready to go for later. Now we need another classification. We need damage variables. So damage dice equals 4, so it's a 4-sided dice for a commoner's basic, I don't know, pitchfork attack, sure. Damage type, no, damage, what am I doing? Damage bonus equals strength mod, because you get more damage out of strength when you're poking somebody with something like that. Damage type equals piercing. Okay, we want some defense variables. What am I doing? Defense variables. There we go. Armor class equals 10 plus dex mod. And we finally got our move and action variables. We're going to add move equals 6, action 2, and we're also going to add can act equals false. So essentially, everybody's got 2 actions, but one of those actions can be spent on attacking or casting a spell or whatever, and then the other one is relegated pretty much solely to movement. So if they've already acted, then they can't act again. Done. All wrapped up. Now we're going to go to each of our heroes and make the proper updates. We're going to do some cleanup and mostly focus on Sunny and Sandy as they're going to be our ranged attackers. So green check all the way out. And let's go to Danny first. So in here, we're going to do the same basic kind of cleanup. Right before here, we're going to go base statistics, health statistics. Really should have done this in the last video before I was copying and pasting all of this stuff. Attack variables. And then below that, we've got our damage variables, and that's going to be where we change things a bit. So his damage dice is going to be an 8-sided dice, so 1 to 8 damage. His damage bonus is going to be strength mod, and his damage type will be slashing. So that's what an axe does, and every good dwarf should have an axe. And his defense I did it again. Defense variables. Something about defense makes you not want to type stuff. Type the slashies. All right, so his armor class is going to be equal to 18 and not a dex modifier because he's in heavy armor. So his dexterity is going to be pretty much stuck there. Like it's not useful when he's wearing all that full plate. He can't move around very well. Got movement and action variables, and then his initiative is going to equal to his dex mod, but that's initiative variables. Okay, now on to Rizzo. So green check out of here. On to Rizzo. And up top, we're going to have our base statistics. Then our health variables. Our attack variables. There we go. Then down below here, we're going to do her damage variables. Damage variables, and that is damage dice equals 8. She's using like a warhammer or something like that. damage bonus equals strength mod, and her damage type equals bludgeoning. That's a tough word. Could have just typed blunt. I did it again. Defense variables. And her armor class is going to be equal to 16, because she's also in some pretty heavy armor, so her dexterity modifier is not going to do her any good. And then, of course, down here we got move and action variables. And then down here, all the way at the bottom, this is our initiative and, initiative variables. All right, halfway done. Now we're on to Sunny and Rizzo, and they're going to be, or Sandy and Rizzo. We're going to do Sandy first. She's going to be special. So is Sunny. Sandy and Sunny, not Sandy and Rizzo. Jeez. Base statistics. Then we've got our health variables. And then our attack variables. Again, here, so our attack variables and our actor are set to like melee and whatever by default. She's not melee, so her attack type is going to be equal to ranged, and her attack range is going to be equal to 15 times grid size. So 15 squares of movement, but in pixels. So this is going to be a straight line distance. Now, well, I'll get to that in a minute. Let's keep going with our comments. Make everything nice and pretty first. Move and action variables, and her initiative variables. All right, so attack range is something worth talking about here. That's how far away a ranged character can attack. Now, we could have measured that in squares, but we can't just do something like our movement range script to manage that, because movement range goes around walls. There's a lot of line of sight and distance checking out algorithms out there that work with traditional roguelikes and solid grid movement, but they're pretty complicated and they'd be a lot of work to implement and work out. And then, of course, there's like a half dozen of them, each with their own strengths and weaknesses, and it would take me a whole another video series just to go through and talk about half of them. So we needed a solution. We needed a solution that's easy to instruct and is good enough, TM. So I decided to go the path of least resistance. We know how big our squares are. They're 32 by 32, and we know that a 10 square range is about 320 pixels. 15 squares is about 480. By using a measurement in pixels, we can resolve all of our range finding stuff with built-in GameMaker Studio functions, and that's a heck of a lot easier for me to teach, and a heck of a lot easier for you guys to understand and follow along with. And it's also easy for any coding partners that might be working on this project to work alongside with you. And most of all, it'll work. And if it's stupid but it works, then it isn't stupid. So, Sandy's all wrapped up. We're going to head over to Sunny and do the same kind of stuff. Alright, so in here, we've got our base statistics right off the bat. Base statistics. Wait, there we go. And then in here, we've got our health variables. And now down here, we've got our attack variables. Now, he's a little different. He's not going to be doing a basic attack. So his strength mod, whatever. Not even his dex mod. When he attacks, he's going to be shooting like a little firebolt out. So we're going to do this with dex, or not dex. What am I doing? I'm out of my mind. His intelligence modifier, because it's essentially just a really weak spell he's casting when he does his basic attack. So, attack type equals ranged, and his attack range, we'll set it equal to Sandy's, so it's going to be 15 times grid size again. All right, and then down here, of course, our move and action variables, and down at the bottom is, of course, our initiative variables. All right, so all the characters are wrapped up now. Let's go get into our node object, and we're going to add a new variable there. So node, create, and then right in this mess, we're going to add, where did I put it? Move node. We're also going to add attack node equals false. So that's going to do the same thing that move node does, except for attacks. We're going to designate move nodes, or we're going to designate nodes either as move or attack nodes, and that'll let the cursor know what kind of action to perform when it right-clicks that node. Now, obviously we've added a new node variable, and we're going to need that variable wiped. So green check all the way out of here, and we're going to go into our wipe node script. Right after move nodes, we're going to wipe attack node as well. Attack node equals false. Great. Green check out of that. And I want to go back in because I've got this itchy feeling in my brain. Okay, I did spell that right. I was like, I didn't have a typo, did I? Okay, it was going to drive me nuts, so I had to go check it. All right, so now we're going to write a script that will handle toggling this attack node variable. It's going to be much simpler than our movement range variable. So here's our new script, create script. We're going to call this ranged attack range. And that sounds really silly, but we're also going to have a melee attack range later on, and maybe that'll be a bit less silly than ranged attack range. All right, so in here, we're going to pass the ID of whichever actor's turn it is, and with that, we'll have access to its range variable. So, argument 0 is the actor performing the range check. So right off the bat, actor equals argument 0, not 9, and then with oActor, temp actor equals other.actor. If army doesn't equal temp actor.army, then we're going to check range. So if, and I should make this bigger because some of these are going to be pretty long. So if, and again, we're just checking straight line distance in pixels. So if point distance x plus 16, y plus 16, so measuring right from the bellies of the nodes, temp actor dot x plus 16, temp actor dot y plus 16 is less than or equal to temp actor dot attack range. So if we are in range, we're going to do stuff. What we're going to do is we're going to check a collision with a wall object. So if no collision, that was typed right. If no collision line, and it's the same variables, x plus 16, y plus 16, temp actor dot x plus 16, temp actor dot y plus 16. There we go. And then what's the object we're checking with? Wall. And then we've got precise, false, and not me, false. Okay. 2 of those, open that, and there we go. So now map grid. If there is no collision line, so if there's straight line of sight, there's no walls between these two nodes, then map.gridx, grid y dot attack node is equal to true. True, there we go. And map grid x, grid y dot color equals C underscore red. So we're going to color that node red. And then we've got a bunch of squigglies all the way out. Although it looks like we don't quite have enough. So hold on. Temp actor. So that matches up with that. That matches up with that. That match. Aha! This is where we went wrong. Oops. I'll say that didn't look right. We should have nice even squigglies all the way out. Okay, so if army is not the actor's army, so if it's someone hostile to the current actor, we're going to check first to the range, and if they're in range, we'll check collision with walls. And if there's no collision with walls, that's a valid attack node. We'll color it red. Great. Okay, now some of you may have noticed that we're checking for an object that doesn't exist anymore. This wall, we kill those, we destroy those, we make them go away. When our nodes detect them, they take on their properties, then they kill the wall. So how are we going to do this? We have things that look like walls in the game, but we destroyed all the actual walls. So how can we check for line of sight if we don't have walls to check for? So we're going to change that. Let's green check out of here. And we're going to go into our game controller's step event. Step event. There we go. All right. So right in here, case wall, instead of type equals wall. Well, we're going to keep that actually. Well, let's get rid of this. This is not necessary. What we're going to do is we're going to do instance change wall true. So what instance change does is it turns the calling instance, whoever's running this script, right? It turns them into this. Completely changes it into that. Now, what it does is it keeps all of its relevant information. So it's still going to have its neighbors list. It's still going to have its cost variable and everything else, but it becomes the other instance so that we clean out that sprite assignment line, which we already did, right? And more importantly, now some of these nodes can be walls for collision checks. Now, obviously this won't work on its own. We still need these objects to be nodes as well. We'll handle that in just a second. So, type rubble, sprite index, we can get rid of this. Like I said, we don't need the sprite assignment anymore because rubble already has that sprite. We're still going to do instance change rubble true. Now, again, we still need rubble and wall to be nodes. So we're going to handle that right there. So green check out of here and there. And we're going to go into our terrain parent object and we're going to set its parent to node. So a wall is a terrain, is a node. Straight down the list. Easy. Now, let's do two more things before we run the game and see what we've got so far. First, let's go into our actors draw event, and when we're mousing over a node that we can make a ranged attack to, we're going to draw a purple line between those nodes. So, actor, draw, and right in here. So, cursor selected, temp node equals oCursor dot hover node. Wait a minute. This is just going to have another error. Okay, so all right, we're going to change this whole bit here. Okay, so if oCursor dot hover node doesn't equal no one. Temp node equals oCursor dot hover node. Cool. And this doesn't need to be here. This should be lower. There. Actually, this will now naturally match up with that. That's fine. Temp node equals cursor dot hover node. Great. And then if temp node dot move node, great. We're going to do, we're going to do all of that. Put another squiggly here so it matches up with this. So if temp node dot move node, current equals temp node, great. And we're going to do all of this, right? So that's done. Now down here, if temp node dot attack node, switch attack type, open, down, case, ranged, colon, break. And then in here, we're just going to do draw, line, width, color. And that's going to be X plus 16, Y plus 16, temp node dot X plus 16, temp node dot Y plus 16. And we want this to be 4 pixels wide, and our color is going to be C underscore purple. C underscore purple. Okay, just like that. That's all we need to do. This was really squirrely typing all of this out, and I'm really sorry about that. So let's leave that up here like this. Go ahead and pause it. Make sure that everything's lined up just right. But if we're a move node, we're doing what we used to do. And if not, if we're an attack node, we're going to draw a purple line. Really simple. Sorry that was kind of a cluster to get here, but this is really important. It'll stop us from having an error later on. So green check out of here and there. With that done, we've got 2 more minor steps. We need to call our new function that we just written, our ranged attack range. And we need that to highlight all of our attack nodes. And we need to do this thing in 2 places. First is obviously in our game controller when an actor comes up in turn order. So let's get back into there. So let's go into game, step, and we're going to go down to ready, right in here. So current actions 2. We also need to set our current actor.canAct equals true, because we just set up that new variable. Now in here, when we do movement range, we also need to do our attack range. So switch current actor.attack type, and we're setting up these switches because eventually they'll include both ranged and melee. But for now, it's just ranged. Break, and that's no big deal. If they pass melee here, they'll just do nothing. That's fine. Ranged attack range, and that is current actor. Great. Break. Okay. Now, we need to wipe all of the nodes if a character moves. We redo it in movement range and our actor end of path event, so we need to do this here as well. So let's screen check out of here and there. And we need to go into our actor end of path. This is where we need to wipe nodes if we move. So this is also where we need to call ranged attack range. What am I talking about? I've lost track of everything. All right, point is, here we go. In here, we need to do that same switch we just did before. So if canAct. We didn't need to do the if canAct before because it was assumed. We just told them they could act. So switch attack type case ranged colon break. Great. And then in here we want ranged attack range with our own ID. Great. Okay. Awesome. I don't know what I was talking about wiping nodes earlier. All right. So range attack range is at the end of the path event, and it's when we get called initially. Oh, sorry, I'm confusing myself with my notes here, guys. But that's that. So now if a character's just moved and it's not taking a proper action, it'll run attack range again, but if it's attacked, then it won't run it. Great. Close all this out. We'll run it, and we'll check our collision. We have to check our purple line to make sure our function is getting called properly. So that was his turn. Oh, error. That's right. This guy's name is error. So there we go. This is a proper attack node. So's that one. So's that one. I'm going to move here. And see, this is no longer a proper attack node because the wall is blocking line of sight between Sunny and that guy. But everybody else is working great. We can move around a little bit and we can see what's going on. There's Danny, and he's not running the algorithm. Great. That's actually one of the things we had to check. Same with Rizzo. Awesome. Now Sandy, again, she has all of these people in range, and I'm going to move her. I think I should be able to move her down here, and that should, yes, that does block line of sight between her and this guy. Great. So targets still come up after a single move. Line of sight's working out great. Everything looks great on my end. So next video, we're going to implement our actual ranged attacks. We'll have a projectile fired, and we'll handle bits like rolling to hit, rolling for damage, and passing that damage off to the enemy. I'm going to beg for internet points again. If you're enjoying the tutorial so far, be sure to like, subscribe, or follow me on Twitter @SergeantIndy, and leave a comment below if you're running any problems or just want to say hello. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time.